Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Kyle from No BS Investing, and today I'm going to talk to you about investing when you have debt. Where do you draw the line? Is it better to pay off your loans early and save that money, or is it better to invest? Maybe you made a new budget and you went over it. Maybe you got a new raise or something. You're making more money. You found money somewhere in your budget. Like, hey, I want to make this money work for me. And I want to try to make more money with this money. I want to be smart with my money. Now, is it smart for me to pay off my loans early? Or should I just invest that money right out of the gates and let my loans run their course? Now, there's no one size fits all approach to this. Most adults have debt in some form, whether that be mortgage payments, they have a mortgage, student loans, which haunt most people these days. Maybe it's credit card debt. Maybe it's a personal loan that you had to take out for miscellaneous things. Now, each of these is going to have different interest rates and different repercussions associated with them. Now, I got a lot of people tell me, hey, I'm going to start investing after I pay off my loans. Maybe after I'm done with my student loans, then I'll invest. I'll do it then. I'll put it off. A lot of people, especially millennials, it seems like, are under the impression that, hey, I can invest later. I'll just invest after I pay off my student loans. And they just don't seem to be interested in investing. Even for retirement, it seems like a lot of people are just waiting way longer than they should for that. All right, so how does this work exactly? First, we need to look at the percent that we pay in interest on our loan that we are considering overpaying on. Let's say that's 5%. We're considering overpaying on our 5% loan. And then we need to look at the percent interest that you would make in return on an investment that you might make instead of overpaying on your loan. So instead of overpaying on my loan, I'm going to invest in the S&P 500, which averages about 10% interest per year. Generally, if the investment percent return is quite a bit higher than the interest you're paying on a loan, it's better to invest the money. But if I have a high interest personal loan that's 10 or 15%, then it's going to make more sense to do that. Because if they even tie out, always go for the loan, because that's going to be consistent. The lender is always, if it's 10%, the lender is always going to ask for their 10% on that loan. They're not going to be like, oh, you've been good this year, we'll knock it down to 5, like it's no problem. But the market is not always so generous. The market's going to go down, the market's going to go up, and it's not consistent. So the loan is always a guarantee. So if it's even close, pick the loan. But how does it ever make sense? How does it ever come out in your favor to invest the money instead of overpaying on your loan? Because if you overpay on your loan and you pay it off 2 years early, then you got 2 years that you can invest all of that lump sum of money. You invest all the money you were going to overpay with and the original payment. And you saved a bunch of money in interest by not paying that interest rate for the full term. And so when you add those together, shouldn't it always make more sense to just overpay the loans and then just invest later? That's not always the case. I will break it down for you. We'll use some very square numbers, and hopefully it makes some more sense to you. And then you can decide what makes sense to you, what is best for your particular situation. Because everyone has different loans, everyone has different interest rates, everyone has different investments that they're willing to make. Maybe the S&P 500 is too aggressive for you and you want more bonds and other investments like that are a little bit safer, but you're going to make lower returns. So, everyone's going to be different and you have to really weigh out what makes sense for you. All right, so let's say you have a $10,000 loan at 5% interest and it's a 5-year loan, right? Right, so you're paying about $188.71 or some change per month for 5 years. So after the loan is finished, you paid $1,322 in interest. Okay, so that's under normal circumstances. You're not overpaying, you're not investing, whatever else. $10,000 loan, 5% interest. 5 years later, you're in $1,322. All right. So now, let's say you find an extra $200 in your budget. Got a raise, you cut some spending on something. Scenario 1. You take that $200 extra a month that you found and you put it towards overpaying that loan, which means instead of paying $188 a month, you pay $388 a month towards your loan, which means that you pay it off after 2 years and 8 months instead of 5 years. You know, that saves you $723 in interest. So that's awesome. So that means you make $723 essentially, because a dollar saved is a dollar earned. Now, you invest that full $388 per month for the remainder of the term. So for the next 2 years and 4 months that are left in that 5-year period, you would invest that full sum of money, not just the extra $200, but the full $388. And it'll say S&P 500, 10%. You plug that into your, your good old investment calculator, and you'll get $1,256. So now we add that together, the $723 that we saved on interest, and the $1,256 that we made off of our investments. And that will net you $1,979 after that 5 years is all said and done. And this is how much money we made by overpaying our loan early and then investing that whole lump sum at the end for that 5-year period. And that's great. All right, scenario 2. This is the one where you invest that $200 a month into something else. You don't overpay your loan. So you're going to pay that $188 per month for the full 5 years of that loan. So this already puts you off to a $723 disadvantage from paying off the loan early and saving all that interest, right? So in this scenario, you invest the $200 a month into the same thing, S&P 500. We'll do 10%, and you'll do it for 5 years. So 5 years at 10%. Now, plug this into your calculator as well, and it will net you $3,312, which is a $1,333 advantage when compared to that $723 that you saved, plus all the interest that you made from investing at the end after you overpay the loan. So scenario 2 is clearly much more profitable. Now, and this is, you never at any point during this process get to invest that $388 per month like you did in the other scenario. But this just shows that investing earlier really has an advantage over investing more money later, which you should look for your retirement. If you wait until you're 40 or 50 years old, even if you just shovel all of your money into those investments, it's not going to make the same returns as if you just started with a decent, reasonable amount while you're much younger and let it kind of snowball, because that interest is exponential. Finally, we're going to talk about high interest debt. And this is going to be, personal loans, a non-collateral loan. So if you get a loan for a car, the bank owns that car until you fully pay off the loan because you use it as collateral. So the interest rates are lower. But if you use a loan without collateral, like a personal loan, let's say you can't afford for your wedding, so you need to get $15,000 to help pay off your wedding or whatever that might be, then that's going to have a much higher interest rate, since the bank doesn't have anything to sell if you stop paying your loans. They need more to make more money off of you in interest, since they don't have that sense of security. And this is also credit card debt, which if you don't pay the full statement balance on your credit card, then you pay ungodly interest rates, like 25% or higher. And then you have credit cards like the ones that are 18 months, 0% interest. But if you don't pay off the full balance before the end of that, then you pay their horrible interest rate from that whole term of every penny you ever spent on that credit card. So if it's $6,000 and you get down and you have 1 cent after that 18-month point, you pay that whatever 30-something% penalty interest rate on that full $6,000 for that full 18 months. So anyway, if you have very high interest debt, such as the credit card debt, one option that's really good is to put that on a personal loan type of thing. And so you're trading one evil for another. Personal loans are kind of like the evil we know, the devil we know, where, sure, 10% is really high, but 25% on a credit card is going to be way worse. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the new FICO 10 algorithm, your FICO credit score, it penalizes people who take their money, their debt that they owe on their credit card, and put it into a high interest rate loan and consolidate it, and then go back and rack up a bunch more credit card debt. So like, I mean, this can easily be a band-aid if you do it wrong, but if you get your budget in check and you really track your spending, and this isn't going to be some band-aid temporarily, you're not going to continue to rack up credit card debt, it's usually better to go ahead and consolidate this, put this into something that's lower interest rate, and then get your credit card spending under control. So something like this, these very high interest rate loans, first off, if you can pay off your all that credit card debt within 3, 4, 6 months, it's probably not worth getting a loan. Just pay it off and eat the interest. But if you really can't help it, then yes, you can consolidate it. So now, when it comes to these types of loans, these very high interest rate loans, it pretty much never makes sense to invest the money instead of overpaying it. Like, get that under control. Pay off your credit cards. Get that under control. Pay down these high interest rate debts, because you can guarantee that you're going to save this money, versus it's going to be really hard to match a 25% interest per year by investing year over year, versus like how much you'd be paying on that credit card debt. So don't get yourself into trouble. And then loan sharks, yeah, just don't mess with loan sharks. That's all I can say about that. Anyway, hopefully now you have a decent idea of whether or not you should overpay any of your loans or invest the money in something else instead. And hopefully you can figure out and do the math and see which one makes more sense to you. But at the end of the day, just kind of compare the interest rates, and if you can make a lot higher percent return off of investment and you have a lower interest rate loan, basically a good rule of thumb is 5 or 6% interest rate loans, invest the money instead. Anything higher than that, overpay the loan. And I mean, or you can just hedge your bet and split it. You $200 extra a month, overpay $100 and invest $100. I mean, then, it's a win-win. And that might be better for someone who isn't necessarily very good at saving money. So anyway, I hope that helps. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments below. Thank you, guys.